Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Forest Beyond the Tracks, the Empire Affair podcast. Today we are doing the subject of live gigs.
We'll get lost in the forest beyond the trees.
So anybody that knows us, that was a particularly central part of our experiences as a band was our live shows. And this week marks a significant anniversary for two things. First of all, the 16th of April 2011 was our first ever gig as Empire Affair, and 3 years ago on the 14th of April, that's 2017, was our Rewind the Clocks gig at Mr. Kip's. So it's a particularly significant week for us in terms of live gigs. To date, we've done 121 gigs across the UK and Croatia. And we've supported bands including Young Rebel Set, All the Young, Frankie and the Heartstrings, and the Hoosiers twice. In this week's episode, we're going to be sharing some of the stories of some of our best and worst gigs, as well as plenty of memorable moments, whether that's because they're funny, embarrassing, or just plain bizarre. So Darren, what springs to mind when you think of our favourite gigs?
Yeah, favourite gig. So it's one you actually mentioned just a second ago, which was the Rewind the Clocks gig at Mr. Kip's. I really enjoyed that gig. One was, I would say, the build up to it. So getting to see all you guys again. I think it was the first time we sort of seen each other in a while when we were doing that practice.
That was the first gig in 2 years, I think. It's literally been up to that point.
Was it really? 2 years?
Before, yeah.
I remember at the time, like it didn't really seem like it. Yeah, it was just good getting back in the room, just drumming again, being with you guys, and obviously having something to work towards. Because it's kind of taken 2 years, not out, but just because we kind of decided to sort of stop 2 years prior. Yeah, it was good to have something to work on again and actually have a focus. But in regards to why it's probably the best gig, in my opinion, it would be because it was just really good to see all the old faces throughout the years who have been there and supported us. It was good to see them all in one room, just enjoying themselves. Because I think, if I remember correctly, it was quite a full room. There was a lot of faces I haven't seen in a while.
Oh,
it was just good
sell out, Darren. Sell out, yeah.
Sell out.
Sell out.
Sell out, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with it. It was a sell out gig. And so it's just good to see a full room of people just enjoying themselves, and obviously like friends, family. And I thought we put on a really good show. I thought the sound was really good, the lights were really good, and it was kind of different because we didn't normally stage kind of like a set before where we would, it's just Neil and Jack at the start doing their bit. And then we kind of have like an intro bit where then that's kind of the signal for the rest of the band to come on, and we go into a song. Yeah, so I think previously if you do a gig, it's just, you just smash through the numbers, the set list. But this one, it just felt there was a bit like theatre behind it. And it was just really interesting. It's quite different from what we normally did.
So give me time and give me space. I'll be back in a short few days. That's the promise that I'll keep. With or without you. With or without you. I can't live. With or without you. See the sunset in your eye. See the thorn twist in your side. And I wait.
Yeah, I just remember we spent so much time relearning all of the songs that we'd almost half forgotten and getting ready for the gig.
Did forget.
We did forget, yeah. Some of those early rehearsals for that were shocking.
And there's video proof of that as well on YouTube.
There is a lot of video proof
on that documentary.
Yeah. We'll let Tom sell the documentary that he worked so hard on in a moment. But I remember so distinctly from that gig, which something that didn't happen all that often to me was just how incredibly nervous I was before we played.
Yeah.
2 years without really doing much music at all in general, let alone with the band. And I remember just thinking over and over and over, what if I can't do it anymore, or what if I haven't got the same energy anymore, or what if people don't like it anymore? It was
So many
a
what ifs,
very
yeah.
weird feeling.
I was just going to say that was the last time we played Mr. Kit's before it closed, and it's now a block of flats.
Wow.
It's also a sad way of a lot of venues around here as well of closing the south of England. There's not many. When we started gigging like 10 years ago to where we are now, there's not as many as there used to be, which is a sorry state of live music. I just wish everyone the chance to get to go and see live music, a local scene, just go out and do it. You know, it's how every band starts. Just get out there and see and support your local scene.
Yeah.
No matter who's playing.
I couldn't agree more.
Can I just add something about the Rewind the Clock thing before we move on quickly? Just add to what Darren said. It was a great gig because it was in aid for prostate cancer UK as well. So it was a charity gig which we raised a lot of money for the charity and awareness. We tried to do our part for a good friend of ours who the gig was partly put on for, who'd recovered from prostate cancer. So it was a good way for us to show our support to him, the charity, and also raise some money and to get everyone together again, which I think added to the emotion of the affair as well, for me anyway. So, and all this, is, like I said, has been captured in the documentary. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. It's called Rewind the Clocks. And you can just check out how nervous we all are, even Neil, in the build-up before the gig backstage, and also the joy of relearning those songs. It's a lovely ride down memory lane.
It's a tough watch, the first 20 minutes of, us.
Struggle.
We've all written all these songs and going, what's that song? Well, what is that? Like, you give me the song title and I'm like, what is? I know no songs of that name.
Cool. So, yeah, I mean, one particular gig is very significant for me in my life was on 18th of February 2012, we played the Winchester, another brilliant venue, the Winchester in Bournemouth, which unfortunately another one we've lost. We loved playing there. We've had some great gigs there, but that one in particular sticks out for me because it's where I met a certain young lady who went on to be my wife. That's where I met her. That was at that gig. It's now my wife, and we've now got a kid together, and it's just all spiraled from that one gig. So obviously that's big, significant one for me. We also put on a really good show and obviously impressed her, so we did it right.
Obviously.
Also supporting us that night was Dear Chicago, who really cool band. I think they were from Oxford sort of way. Yeah, we stayed in touch with them for a while. Another cool band we got to play with. The other gig which I would like to say, and it's a bit of a strange one, was Henfest, a little festival out in Wimborne. It was the one before the Rewind the Clocks gig, so June 2015, just before we went on a little hiatus. I mean, we love playing festivals and we love playing big crowds. For me, it was really cool because we played to a lot of people that hadn't heard of us before. And that's always a really nice thing, to play to a lot of people that don't know you and get them on your side and impress them and show them what you're capable of. Obviously, playing to people that do know you and that you're our friends is really cool and exciting. But if you can win over a huge crowd that don't know you, then that's a really great feeling when you come off stage going, yeah, we absolutely smashed that.
Yeah, I agree. That gig was bittersweet though, wasn't it? Because we all knew that was our last gig together. So we approached it with some real energy and real commitment to put on as great a show as we could, but we all knew that it was the end, and we didn't know that we were going to gig again in the future or whatever was going to happen. We just knew that for the time being that was the ending.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that made us a stronger band, that although we had these ups and downs, even when we were in our downs, we still went out there and put on a really good fun show, and we played to our strengths, and that was like I say, that one was a particular strong gig in my mind, despite everything else that was going on at the time.
Yeah, I remember it very well, that gig. I'd second that. I remember giving it my all, and there was just so much energy on stage from us all. We played really tightly, that the crowd were really engaged. I'm not sure if we were just given a bit more because we knew it was our last gig, but something definitely felt like really right about that gig, and in regards to just how we performed, the energy, just sort of an all-round just good gig, I thought.
Yeah, I remember doing an encore in that gig, and I thought that we'd played our last song. Like that, came to the end of our set list. I thought, this is it. That's the moment where the music stops, and we're not going to do it again. And then, we get beckoned back to do one more, and I think we played a song we'd already played in the set list. I think we did it again, and it was just as good as we did, during the set, and just as much fun. And it was such a strange feeling before the gig for me, and obviously when we were playing those songs, thinking this was going to be the last time. Thankfully, it wasn't, because obviously you wouldn't get this wonderful podcast in your ears if we'd stopped playing. We would be doing other things with our lives. But it was one to remember for sure.
So, Jack, what comes to mind when you think about your favourite gig?
All the gigs that you've mentioned so far, like Henfest and playing at Kips for the last time, that they're obviously both real good ones. We must have played Dublin Castle and Camden 10 or 11 times now. I think 10 times. I would say 8 of those times have all been absolute smashes out of the park. I think they've all been really good crowds, really good energy. There's something quite unique about that place. I mean, obviously, a little bit of history. Like, this was the first place the Killers played when they played in England. That was their first English gig, and I think I think Brandon Flowers fell off the stage halfway through a song. Coldplay. I've never fallen off stage. No, I feel like I fell onto the stage, but not off the stage. And another gig I remember we did was at Scala in King's Cross, and that was we were playing as a part of the Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds after show party. Soundchecked early. Really nice venue, really nice, big stage. Probably one of the biggest stages we played on, I would say. And we got really good feedback that night, and that's when we ended up meeting Faye, who ultimately started to work with us, trying to get us more gigs in London. She put us in contact with a few record labels, which we ultimately decided to go with. But it was good to, meet somebody like that at one of our gigs who believed in us, I guess. So that, and I think we played really well that night.
I remember at the at Scala was a little bit of a fun fact, really. It was the first time we incorporated the end of disco program drums to be played at that time.
Really?
So I had a little my old drum pad next to me, and I had it loaded onto my little SD card, which was the program drums that you hear on End of Disco before I come in at the end. And I had to sit there. I was just waiting for sort of the right moment to hit it. And I remember sort of towards the end, because for the listeners, we don't really have metronomes when we play. We're not at that stage yet, so we're literally just using our ears and our own sort of internal metronome to try and gauge when things is. And I remember towards the end of it, when the drums should stop, it was just a bit out of time, and I could hear it, and I was I sort of turned the volume knob sort of down just so to look like it was naturally just going quiet. And I was oh fuck, let's just quiet this down. Yeah, but and I never did it again after. I was like, we need to work on this. I gave it a go. That was probably one of the most important gigs, but I don't think anyone noticed.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice.
Oh, there we go. Professional.
Just going back to some of those Dublin Castle gigs that we did up in Camden, those were massive for us, I think, because just coming from where we come from in the UK, we come from Bournemouth, and to get to London, to get there, there's a 2-hour drive away. We used to rent minibuses out and take a group of people all the way from the south coast with all our gear on almost a 24-hour trip. We'd get a minibus early in the morning, and then we'd drive middle of the day up to London, have a look around London, and then get ready for the gig in the evening, and then drive back same day. Big shout out to all our drivers that took us up there over those times, especially big shout out to Boom Slam and Matt, who drove us through the night, through the early hours, and got everyone safely home after the gigs.
And played the gig as well.
And played the gig, yeah, which is incredible. I don't know how he stayed awake on the way home.
Superhuman effort.
Superhuman. But I just remember one of those gigs after we did, I think it was something like January 2012, when we were in Dublin Castle, and I was sat with Neil on the way back in the front seat, and it'd been just like one of the best gigs we'd done at that point, and probably still is. And he said to me, if we play like that on nights like tonight, I feel like we can make it. And I remember just having that feeling, yeah, this could happen. It was such a feeling of potential and possibility. And it was to say something still might happen, but it was in that moment, it was just like the world was at our feet. It just felt so good because the crowd were just going off. Like they were in the palm of Neil's hand and the palm of all, just wanting more and singing along and just going with our music. And it was like just incredible. Everyone is just wanting, live music experience.
And I think we played with like quite a few bands. Well, there's at least 3 bands per night, and some of them had some quite interesting band names. I believe we played with one band called Wet Pelican.
Yeah, they were really cool.
They were very cool. Yeah,
I've still got one of their CDs somewhere.
Yep. Who Into Kid? Just I think they were like from Romania or something, weren't they? Or
they were from all over. I think they were all from different countries, so that's why they called themselves Into Kid, because they were international.
That's it. Yeah, I remember the singer was explaining himself.
Did you ask him to explain yourself?
Yeah, explain the name, please. No, I think we said, yeah, cool name. Well, I don't know. We just got chatting, and he said, oh yeah, we're all from different parts of Europe, and we're international kids. So
that makes sense.
And that's where we also met Paul Hegley Band as well.
Paul Hegley Band, yeah.
Who still in touch with, and they played at our Pangs EP launch party. Big shout to Danny Bayliss, the bassist, who got in touch earlier on Instagram to say that he particularly enjoyed those Dublin Castle gigs as well that we did with them. Yeah, great guys, great music, nice, dirty bluesy sort of stuff.
Tom, what memories come flooding back in a fond way?
Well, there's 3 gigs which we were lucky to be part of, which took place down in Bournemouth in 2011, 2012 and 2013, which was dubbed Bandalism, which gave the chance of local bands in Bournemouth, Poole, South Coast area, the chance to play at an O2 Academy, our local one in Bournemouth. We were lucky enough to get on the bill 3 times, and by selling the most tickets, managed to, in our eyes, pick up the best slot for the night on each occasion. And these were this was a massive thing for us, because we hadn't ever played a venue this sort of size. I mean, you're talking 1,500 people can easily fit in that place. So the first time we played it, we thought we'd do something extra special. I think it was Jack's idea, and it was to do something to do with our clothes, which was to dress all in white and make a statement, come on stage like no one else had ever seen us done anything like this before, which I think added to the specialness of the evening. There was a couple of other memorable moments which happened that night during the set. One I think we're going to touch on a bit later. For me, there was a moment, I remember playing our song One Night in Munich. I think that was the first time we premiered it at the O2 Academy. And at the end of that song, there's this bit where I play the bass, and it's this nice little run where Darren's just going crazy on the drums, hitting the living hell out of them. And the strobe light was going off in time with my bass riff, and it just felt like it was the best feeling I've had on stage, because it just the light show and the music, the sound, the crowd, it just all came together perfectly, and it was unforgettable time on stage. Just wish every gig, you could play on venues like that.
Yeah, I remember what you were saying about the strobe light, because it's funny you should say that, because I kind of thought it was only me that kind of got off on that strobe light, let's say. So I remember, I think we were doing, it might have been One on Me, or basically some energetic song we were doing, and I remember just looking right above me, and it was the strobe light. I was just staring into it. Probably shouldn't have done that for such a long time. Yeah, but I got the same feeling. I remember looking up to it, and it was you just felt pumped, because like you say, if things are going off, like the lights are going off on your trigger, because of your sounds, and you got that crowd out in front of you. The sound is good anyway. Being the O2 is good quality sound. Then, like all that together, I remember just thinking like, this is what it feels like. Like, to sort of be on these kind of stages and Yeah. I remember thinking like, it kind of made me want to be like extra determined to, to get to a stage like that where you are playing those kind of stages and you are feeling that buzz, 3 times a night or something. 3 times a night? 3 times a week, sorry.
Yeah.
3 times a lady.
Wow, there we go.
When it came to favourite gigs for me, one of the ones, Matt touched on it a moment ago, which was our EP launch for our third EP, Pangs, which we had at the Winchester, which Paul Hegley Band supported us. We've played at the Winchester a number of times. Our first ever gig was at the Winchester, and obviously Matt mentioned where he met his now wife was also at the Winchester. This one stands out to me just because kind of an amalgamation of kind of everything that everybody's been saying. Some of the experiences I had with gigs were we could play unbelievably, or the crowd could be amazing, but it didn't necessarily all feel like it fit together in my head. But I just remember that Pangs EP launch just feeling so perfect, like everything fit together. We had the control of the venue, so we had a projection running that was showing our music videos in the background while we played. We had lots of friendly faces there, plus plenty of unknowns as well. I just remember playing the whole gig. We played obviously all the tracks from the EP, as well as lots of other tracks that either we hadn't played live before or we hadn't played very often. So it just all came together. And I don't know if you guys feel like this, but one of the things that I've really noticed about now that we gig now less regularly is just how important it feels like to be in a rhythm. So when we were playing regularly every week or twice a week or whatever, you sort of got into this rhythm. It sort of was kind of in your stride and your stamina was there, and you knew what songs were coming next or what variations of the set list you were doing, and it all felt that kind of natural way. Now, when we play gigs, even if we play really well, if we haven't played in a while, I've sort of gone through the whole gig kind of consciously thinking about what's next, or being very mindful of kind of on-stage behaviors or singing a particular way. And that kind of rhythm only comes back after kind of doing regularly. And so I thought that gig particularly, for all those reasons, but also just because we were absolutely in our element.
Yeah, it was very tight. It was just, it was like Neil says, a culmination of years of hard work, of writing the right songs at the right time, putting them all together on record, and then showing it live for the first time to people. It felt like the biggest thing at the time that we had done off our own backs by ourselves. The other gigs we get and other slots, other venues, it's down to them. But this was us doing what we did best.
I think if I remember correctly, didn't we? Was it a video each day leading up to the gig, or once a week leading up to the gig of our new tracks or music videos we released to sort of tease the audience in regards to what they're going to hear? Was that right?
That is right. Yes, we released leading up to the gig, which was on a Friday night. We released the EP had 5 tracks, so we released a video for each track every day, 6 o'clock. So one Monday, one Tuesday, one Wednesday, one Thursday, one Friday. Just to a different way to release the music, so everyone would know it coming into the gig, would know the new songs, because a lot of people would be hearing them for the first time, but at least we give them a chance to get on board with the music as well as hearing it live, which I think worked out really, really well.
Yeah, and those videos are all still on our YouTube channel as well. We had a lot of fun with all those videos. I dare say we will probably do a podcast at some point talking about those video experiences and the fun we had and the stories behind those. But if you're not familiar with them, or even if you just want to trip down memory lane with us, go on our YouTube channel after you've watched the Rewind the Clocks documentary and watch some of the music videos.
Apart from Paul Hegley, the other support that night was Jack Grace, our good friend Jack Grace as well.
Oh, yeah.
Who we've played with a few times. He's a great guy in on the Bournemouth scene. yeah, it's brilliant, fantastic musician. And Wally's just annoyingly talented people that can sing, play guitar, play bass, and play keys and all sorts.
And he has substituted in and played with us as part of the band on one occasion as well.
He was.
Yes.
Was that the Winchester? No.
No, that was
That's for the Kips.
Kips.
that was the second time round. Second time we supported the Hoosiers.
Oh yeah.
Young Matthew was at Reading, I believe.
Yeah, I had I won VIP tickets to Reading. I was like,
who's going to say no to that?
Good enough excuse.
But luckily, we got in contact with Jack Grace. We gave him about a month's notice. We had a couple of practices, gave him the songs, and he pretty much nailed it all within the first practice. So we're very indebted with Jack.
He wore a white shirt to the gig in honour of our costume dramas.
Yeah. I think it's also worth mentioning as well that we had another person sit in for us. We had Lloyd, our friend Lloyd, who plays drums with, I think he plays drums with the Mikey Ball band.
Yeah.
He played in States of Matter as well. Yeah, he filled in on drums because Darren was decided to go on a stag do to Prague.
It was Prague, yes. It was, yes. Very nice place.
Did you have a good time?
It was interesting. Yes.
We had a great time.
Oh, did you?
Oh, good. Yeah. Good one. We were just saying, good one. We were just saying it's probably our favourite gig, actually. So we played the old fire station with, what program was he on?
He was on the
Undateables.
Channel 4, Undateables.
Channel 4, Undateables, the Daniel Wayne experience.
And that was only last year.
Yeah, that was like one of our latest gigs.
It was good fun to play at the old fire station as well, because I've been to quite a few gigs there and seen lots of bands there before, and it was on my sort of bucket list of local venues to play at.
Yeah.
During our long time of playing gigs locally, that was the first time we got to play at the fire station, so that was a really cool one for me as well.
Yeah, it was really good.
So yeah, thank you Lloyd for saving us on that one as well, because that might have been a gig that we missed out on had you not been able to step in and save us there.
I would just like to state the fact before we move on that he did buy every member in the band a round of beers beforehand, and that is well documented as well. There is a video floating around.
Was it one or two? One, two?
I think it might have been 2 beers.
So Darren, you've got some catching up to do.
So Darren's got to step up your game, mate.
Isn't that because you said to Lloyd, Darren usually buys a round? So he's like, okay, I am basically Darren, I'll buy a round. And you're like, oh, you're joking. And he actually did or something.
It's
confidential.
Yeah, I can't go to band secrets.
Let's keep it going till we disappear, and the only sound I hear.
What's everybody's favourite song to play live and why? We'll start with you, Tom.
Favourite song to play live? I mean, we don't play it now, but it was Dancing on the Moon, which I just thought had the best intro, the best beat, the most enjoyable performance for me to play. It's just my most fun song. I love the structure of the song. I just love the energy in the music, the ending, the way it crescendos, the dynamics change. That's my favourite.
Matt?
For me, it was probably Can You Feel It? It's a bit of a staple set opener for us for a while, and it was big crescendo intro, noisy, lots of effects, lots going on, and I do a lot of stuff playing guitar wise that I don't get to do a lot on other songs, so it's just a really lively song that usually gets the crowd going.
Darren, what about you?
Yeah, me. There's a song. I'm not sure how long we played it, but it didn't get a lot of show time. But it was "Causing Trouble." Again, it's a song that we never recorded. I'm not sure if there's one or two live recordings of it somewhere on YouTube. But that song, purely because, again, the people that don't know me, but I like playing fast, and it's something that that's joked around with the band a lot. But yeah, that's one of the songs that it's just naturally fast anyway, and to have an excuse to play to that kind of speed, and not get anyone looking at me, just going slow down, is it's a good song. But other than that, it's just got so much energy, and I'm sure like many of you, there's certain songs you like playing because it kind of shows what you can do in regards, what your limits are and what your creativity is. Causing Trouble was just one of those songs that I never really had to think too much about, but everything that came about drum part wise was just it just came naturally. I didn't have to sort of listen to anything to try to get inspiration. I just, as soon as I heard it, I was like, it's done in my head. I can hear what this is, and every time we play it live, it's just, again, what I mentioned earlier, it just gives me such a buzz to play, and maybe go a bit too fast sometimes, but you'll forgive me.
That's exactly the same reason for why I picked my favourite song to play live, which is DNA Code. It's my favourite because it's my favourite to sing. I get a chance to kind of show my vocals in a different way. It was also my favourite to record as well. So for exactly the same reasons that Darren said, where you get to kind of do things that you don't do in other songs. And it's quite often towards the end of a set as well. So it's usually when the audience is hopefully on your side. So that's definitely my favourite. Jack, what about you?
My favourite song is, some people know it as Wilfred and some people know it as I'm Just Starting. Yeah, I just like playing the lead line. It's very, it goes well with the chords and the bass and the drums. It's very sort of Editor's Block Party sort of sound. It's quite a lively number. It's been in our live set from day one, I think, and I don't think it's ever been dropped or anything like that.
Yeah, I'd say Wilfred was a close second when I was asked the question, what's your favourite? Those were the first two that came to mind, was Causing Trouble, Wilfred / I'm Just Starting. And for the same reasons you, Jack, again, it's just got so much energy, and everything just feels right about it. So I think that would be a very close second to what my first choice was.
So there you go, 4 out of our 5 favourite songs weren't on our EPs.
That's funny, that, isn't it?
Wow.
I just had to shout out to Tornadoes as well, because that never fails to get the crowd going, no matter where we are, no matter who knows us and who doesn't know. That is our ultimate get everyone together and let's have a good time song.
So that was episode 2 of Empire Affairs Forest Beyond the Tracks. We've still got so much that we can talk about with live recordings. So join us again next week, and we will carry on talking all things live gigs.